Awesome. Awesome. We're live. We are live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Anne Anidumaka, Administrative Assistant at Unity in Service. And today I am honored to be sitting down with a truly remarkable woman whose story has inspired so many, including myself. I give you Dr. Patricia Rogers, Visibility Strategist and CEO of Unity in Service, who has not only built an extraordinary career, but has touched countless of lives with her unwavering commitment to faith, service, and community. Take it away, Dr. Pat.
Oh, thank you so much, Anne. I appreciate that introduction, that great introduction. And yes, I have definitely endured a 29-year career in law enforcement. I retired in 2016 as a corrections lieutenant. Had many challenges along the way, but yes, 29 years in law enforcement was an awesome career. Why? Because I get to live and see the fruit of my labor. So thank you again for that awesome introduction.
You're welcome, Dr. Pat. I'd like to start by saying that it's a privilege to have this conversation with you. And so let's start by hearing about your incredible journey. So, could you start by sharing a brief reflection on your journey as a visibility strategist and the driving force behind Unity in Service as we know it?
Wow, that's a great question. That's a great question. And I certainly would like to expound on that. How did I get started? Well, as I said before, working for corporate America, I knew that I was going to be retiring one day. And as I got closer to my retirement, I had to make a decision. I got a little fearful because of when you work 29 years in one place and you're getting ready to leave that place, you have to have something to put in place of that time, or what are you going to do with your time, because that no longer exists. So that was God, what I call a defining moment for me, because God does love us enough and he guides us. And what the key is for us to do is to follow his guidance. He speaks to our hearts. And what he said to me in my heart was, you better get ready, young lady, and decide what are you going to do when you leave this job. And that's when preparation, I always say preparation is the key to success. So I started going out in the neighborhoods, various events, networking events. They were springing up everywhere. And I would go to networking events because I wanted to see what the entrepreneurs were doing. I wanted to learn that process. And I would go to the events, and sometimes I would even go to the events prior to going to work. And I would put my uniform in the car, go to a 6 o'clock event, stay until about 9:30, jump in my car. I had to be to work at 10. And I would, depending on what the location of the event is, and I would go to work, go in the bathroom, put on my uniform, and do my 8 hours. My point and why I bring that up is because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Sacrifice. You cannot have success without it. You cannot have success without sacrificing something. And on this entrepreneur journey, in anything that we do in life, it takes work. And that is how I got started into the entrepreneur arena. And then from there, I started investing in coaches such as Bill Walsh, International Power Team USA, Women's Prosperity Network. Of course, I'm still in that organization, both organizations. I'm still a member, and it's been over 9 years now. And those were my coaches. And when I took the public speaking training sessions, such as platinum speaking training, I learned how to publicly speak. I learned how to take my message of challenge from those 29 years in the corporate arena. I learned how to bring that message into a story so that it can inspire others. And the topic of that message is quitting, ladies and gentlemen, is never, ever an option. And kudos to my coaches, Nancy Matthews, Trish Carr, Susan Weiner, and Bill Walsh.
Okay, thank you for such an amazing response to that particular question. So that brings me to something that I have learned while working with you, and that is the fact that faith has been a cornerstone of your life and your leadership. So can you share how your relationship with God has shaped your mission to uplift and empower others, because that's something that you preach every single time, a relationship with God. So how has that shaped your mission to uplift and empower others?
Wow, that's a great question. I never had anybody ask me that question before. I didn't even know you noticed it. I didn't know it was that noticeable. Uh, but yes, God is my cornerstone. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, the stone that the builder rejected was the very stone that they needed. And I know in our lifetime, we get so carried away with a lot of things that goes on in life that we forget about who God is, and we forget about the power that he has over our lives. Why? Because he created us. And thankfully to my mother, God bless her, she took us to church when we were little. And that's where I got my spiritual foundation, and I learned who God was. And that is something I'm just so grateful for, having had that journey in church. When I was little, I didn't appreciate going all the time. But as I grew older and I started living life on my own terms, I realized the value of having that relationship with God and trusting him. Why? Because he created us. If he created us, he knows all about us. And I learned that he loves us no matter what. When others seem to fail us, God is always right there. And he takes our negative situations, our challenges, and he turns them into stepping stones to success. I'm telling you, girl, don't get me started talking about faith. So what is faith? Faith is the substance of things that is hoped for. You don't see it yet, ladies and gentlemen, but just keep hoping for it. You got to see it and visualize it in your mind, but it has not come into fruition yet. But faith, when you see it in your mind and you believe it and you hold on to that vision, then you got to take action towards its attainment. Whatever steps it takes to make that thing come into reality. And when it comes into reality, it's a done deal. Faith in action. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I hope I made some sense.
You did. And I'd like to throw in there that another thing that has spurred me about this conversation is just remembering at the back of my mind that as far as you wake up every single moment in the morning, it means that God is not done with you. It means that there is always, always something more for you, something that he wants you to accomplish. And the only way you can do that is by getting up in the morning and by saying, today, the Lord has given it to me. And I'm going to do my best with what he has given to me. And that is the time. So now that will give me lead us to our next question, which is, you've told us about 29 years in law enforcement, what that meant for you as a Black woman in corporate America, doing what you needed to do to just get to where you wanted to be. You had a goal, you had where you were going to. And I know that there were inevitable challenges that you faced, both as an entrepreneur and as a leader. So what has been one mindset or discipline that has kept you grounded and moving forward? Because I know you said that you came up with quitting is not an option, but getting to know you, I know that it is a lot more than just quitting is not an option. There's a build up to that. You always have something. So I know that there is more, So what has been that one mindset or discipline that has kept you grounded and moving forward, always waking up?
Well, what I didn't say, Anne, what I didn't say was about the 12 years that I did in the military. I did also serve 12 years in the U.S. Army. And I also did specify that I came up in the church. And I bring those things up, and then 29 years in the corporate arena. And I bring those things up because all of those things one thing they all had in common. Number one, rules. RULES, for those of you who don't know what I'm saying. Rules. And when there are rules, every game, there are rules. Everything, there are rules. Every move we make in life, everything we want to achieve has rules to the game. And what has kept me structured and allowed me to get through and to get to all the dreams that I've desired in my life is that I follow the rules, number one. Disciplines are very important. And in anybody's arena, because God is going to put you with various people to help get you to your destiny. Would you agree? Yeah. Nobody does it alone. We all need people. People need people. So therefore, if I'm coming into your camp, I'm going to follow the rules for your camp. So that's what the military taught me. Follow the rules. you won't get in trouble. The law enforcement taught me, follow the policies and procedures, the rules, you won't get in trouble. And I saw a lot of officers get in trouble. Also, church taught me, if you follow God's rules in that Bible, it's laid out for you. If we just follow it to the best of our ability, because we're not gonna follow it, dollar every I and cross every T, but if we at least strive to be as best as we could at who we are and who God has called us to be, we're gonna succeed and we're gonna make the mark.
Yeah, that's true.
But what has kept me and what has allowed me to reach the success pinnacle that I am at today is because I believe that obedience is better than sacrifice. If I obey the rules, I'll make the mark. If I don't obey the rules, I gotta stop, start all over again, and sometimes I never start, I never make it to the finish line. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does perfectly. So, so we've been able to look at your past, we've been able to look at the present, but now let's look to the future. So you always talk about, oh, when I'm gone, I want you to remember that this is this. And when I'm gone, you're going to remember and you're going to say, oh, she said that. Oh, she did that. Oh, she told me about that. Yeah. So as you look ahead, what legacy do you hope to leave behind, not just in your business, but in the hearts of those you've come in contact with, people that you've impacted, and the people that God has graced to be in your life?
That's a great question, Ann, and I'm glad you asked that. In a sense, it's making me think, because the way I have to answer that question, now I have to pull up what that answer is. But I can certainly say from the top of my head, because you're making me think, the top of my head, what I want the world to understand is this: everything we desire is already ours, but we must do the work. And I want the world to understand that if you want something and you take action, it's a vision, then you got to execute a plan of action. And if you carry out that plan of action, there's no way you're not going to succeed. I want the world to know that everything you desire is yours from the day you was born. It was predestined for you, but it's the outside obstacles that come into our lives. And sometimes it's there just to show us our weaknesses, just to show us, hey, you off course. And it comes through people. It comes through people. So you got to watch the company you keep. You have to make sure you feed your spirit with positive affirmations, scriptures, anything that's going to keep you afloat. But what I want the world to know is that, like I said, if God has done it for me, he'll do it for you. And as it relates to my voice being in your head, you're right. When I'm gone, because we all just passing through. And it doesn't mean I'm going to leave before the next one go. We don't know who going first. It doesn't matter. But while I'm here today, you already said it. Every morning I wake up, I get out of that bed. I say, what will thou have me to do today? And in most cases, I've already written down some of the things that I didn't finish yesterday. So I already know, common sense tell me you got to finish that today. So we should always have a plan of action, And so having said that, like I said, everything that we desire is already ours. And when we say quitting is not an option, when you get knocked down, you got to get up, suit up, and keep showing up. And this is what I want to be in the head, in the hearts, and in the minds of the people when I'm no longer around. I want them to hear my voice in their head. If they had a close connection with me, I want them to say, I remember when she went through that. Now, if she did it, I can do it too. Process of duplication, Ann. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Wonderful. So now to give us our viewers something to hold on to while we end this exciting session, regrettably, give us one affirmation, a scripture, something that means something to you, that keeps you going, and something that leaves you optimistic that there is always better. It's not better. You've experienced worse, but it gets better.
I'm glad you asked that question, because we're having an event that's coming up on May 30th. And if you all would just, all of our viewers, listeners, if you just look at the link below, Fuel by Faith 2025 www.eventbrite.com is there. And I'm going to tell you something. If you all would just go to that link and come to this event, we're going to have a scripture for you. All of our speakers will be stating a scripture or an affirmation, something positive that have catapulted them in difficult times. And one of mine is, I got a lot of them, but since you asked me, one of mine is, and I'm going to close on this one. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith without works is dead. And that means that if God has given me a vision or given you a vision, and you're not carrying out that vision by faith, believing in God and believing in yourself, that it's yours and you can achieve it, then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Your vision is dead indeed. I'm Dr. Patricia Rogers, visibility strategist, and I am the CEO of Unity in Service, where people need people. Over to you, Ann.
Okay, thank you so much for everyone who has joined us this lovely, lovely Sunday. I hope you had an exciting time, because I'm sure that from Dr. Pat's smile, you can tell she had an exciting time with me. We hope to have you on with us, because we are going to be having wonderful interviews with our speakers in our upcoming event. And you should not miss this event for anything. It promises to be uplifting. It promises to drive you and inspire you to keep moving, because like Dr. Pat said, quitting is not an option. We've had a wonderful day. Thank you.
Awesome. Good job. My sister just called me. Look at God. She just called me. Girl, I got to call her back. Okay, that was awesome. Oh, we got to stop. I paused the recording. Okay, great.